Now, here's the scenario. You can see the hypocrisy in the churches. You can see where they're doing the wrong things. They're not living based on the teachings of Jesus. They're motivated by greed and an emphasis on material things. They're teaching doctrines that are actually, they might sound nice, they might be popular, but it's very obviously incorrect and incompatible with the teachings of the Jesus of the Bible. So you could see those problems, and you don't want to be a part of that corrupt system. However, you also don't know of any big church, any big organization that you can join and be a part of and feel like you're really walking in the will of God. So what do you do? Well, that's why I've made this video, because I'm trying to encourage you of one of the most liberating teachings of Jesus for those of us who are actually truth seekers, who are actually trying to seek after the truth and not just follow the beaten path with all of its problems, with all of its corruption, with all of its deviations from the sincere milk of the Word of God. If you are someone that's actually looking for the truth and don't know where to turn, think about what Jesus said. He said in Matthew 18, verse 20, that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of them. In other words, you don't need to have big numbers in order to have God's Spirit. You don't need to have a big organization or a big denomination backing you in order to live by faith in obedience to what Jesus taught. He says you just need 2 or 3 other people. He says wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst of you. And that's such a liberating teaching. So often we've been drawn into the mistaken belief that bigger numbers equals a greater chance of actually finding the truth. But if you listen to what Jesus taught, you'll find that just the opposite is true. Jesus said that broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many there are who go that path. But he said that narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there are who find it. In other words, if you are thinking mistakenly that bigger crowds means a greater chance of finding the truth, you may find yourself in one hell of a mess when Judgment Day comes and God shows that that's actually not the case. So rather than thinking that might equals right, that numbers equals proof, and that bigger groups or bigger organizations or bigger denominations means more of a likelihood of walking in the Spirit of God, why not approach it like this? What if I were to tell you that it's actually the smaller groups where you're more likely to find truth? You know, even Jesus with his first disciples was really only with 12 full-time men. And, you know, he had smaller groups of 72 that followed him. But it wasn't this multitude that was really the hardcore, full-time, sold-out disciples, even back then. So why would it be much different even now? The main takeaway for this video is simple. Don't go just looking for numbers. If you're looking for truth, just look for 2 or 3 other people that you can have unity with, that you can fellowship with. It doesn't mean you have to be exclusive and limiting your fellowship to just 2 or 3, but don't assume that you need much more than that to have God's Spirit. You just need 2 or 3. I hope this message speaks to somebody out there today. God bless.